Hey guys, it's the Seer here. I know I've been gone for a while, but I have an explanation to that. Last year I was going through a tough time last year, explaining why I haven't been posting that often, but I really thought about it and I wanted to come on here and let you guys know what I've been up to and why I suddenly just disappeared. But like I said, last year was really hard for me, like really hard. I think I actually went into I don't want to self-diagnose myself and say I was depressed, because I know that's a strong word, and so I don't want to self-diagnose myself and say, oh, I was depressed or whatever. But I was in a tough spot last year. I was in a very tough spot last year. I feel like I definitely hit rock bottom. There was just a lot going on. I was sad, genuine sadness every day. And the reason why I'm making this video is because I know that this is gonna help someone out there, and I know that I couldn't have been alone experiencing the things that I was experiencing. I know that there's someone out there who, it's experiencing similar things. I know that this generation right now, we feel so much pressure to look a certain way, to be certain people, to have certain achievements. And I'm not gonna sit here and lie, that got to me last year. At the beginning of last year, January, I was very optimistic. I started this channel, and to the 300 and I don't even know how many subs are there now, about 340. So 340 people watching this right now, even others watching this. You guys started the journey with me last year. Last year, I was very optimistic. I knew what my goals were. I knew where I wanted to be, and I was in a good place starting off the year. But then half the year went by and I just felt like I was completely lost. I mean, I did achieve some of the goals that I, had planned out on achieving, but I was just completely lost in the middle of the year. So I really wanted to deep dive and, talk about the changes that I've made so far in my life. Because like I mentioned, last year was I hit rock bottom last year. I was so sad. I felt like I lost myself. I definitely did. I gained weight. So much was happening last year, and I told myself this needs to change. I cannot continue to live like this. And so the very first thing that I did was I created a plan for myself, a very clear plan. I had to make it very clear what it is that I wanted and how I wanted the change to happen. And so I remember picking up my notepad and literally writing down the life I wanted to live and the person I wanted to be able to make those changes. And that was the very first thing I did. I mapped out a plan for myself, and I was like, this is how long I'm going to take to achieve this plan for me to get to be not necessarily back to myself, but the happiest version of myself I can possibly be. And I remember it all started at work. I was working at another job. I kind of don't want to go into the specifics just because I think it's personal to me. So I'll keep my job very vague. Of course, if you know me personally, you know what I'm talking about. But I was working at another job, which was very temporary. I wasn't planning on staying there or anything like that, which was fulfilling to me. I didn't have an issue with it. I was very level-headed, still am, knew where I was going to in life, knew what I wanted out of that job. It was just to flip my bills until, I was done with school or got a more professional job. But then I slowly felt like the job was eating the life out of me. It was literally sucking life out of me. And the way I knew this was true is I started not wanting to go into work. I would go into work and I'll just feel mentally drained. I would feel like someone sucked the living day life out of me, and I'll be sad. And coupled with that, you're speaking with rude customers, and it was just a lot going on, and that wasn't helping with my mental health. And so it just went downhill from there. I would just keep feeling sad going into work. The job itself wasn't hard. It was just, I would say it was just the people. The generation nowadays will probably understand this. There's so many jobs that just take advantage of you, and if not, you're not even seen as a person anymore. You're literally seen as a number. They could replace replace you whenever they care to. Anyways, that was the first thing, is I really just had to pinpoint what exactly I had to change and what exactly was making me sad. And like there was a switch turned off that I had to turn it back on. And so the first thing I did was I went ahead and mapped out a plan for myself. I was like, in 3 months, 3 to 4 months, I want to be a better version of what I'm looking at today. And I had to hold myself accountable to make that happen. And so I wrote down a plan. It was very clear. I knew what my objectives were. And so thankfully enough, I already had my savings and everything, and I decided to, walk out of the job, which is why it's very important for you to have, a savings account, because I had already been planning for this for months. And so I knew that by September, I wanted to make a change. And so I went ahead and left that job, and I had savings for 3 months straight. And I told myself I need to get myself stable and I need to get myself to a better place in 3 months. Now at this point, I had already pretty much had my plans. I had my savings was right and everything. I was just waiting for the right time. But while waiting for the right time, I do want to make mention that the thing that really helped me through it was prayers. I can't sit here and confidently say that I did this without God, because I'm not going to lie to you, it was draining. I hit rock bottom so many times, and I kept asking myself, like, am I going to be able to make it? Is this going to work out? What if I'm shooting myself in the foot? And I just had to remember that, I'm a child of God, and whatever you pray for, you definitely receive, also as long as you're working hard. Definitely prayers helped me throughout my whole journey, and I'm just grateful because I kept believing that I was going to make it, and I definitely did. Now, the next thing that I had to really put myself on check on, because like last year, I know last year I was going through this thing where I was like comparing my life to random people's lives I'll see on the internet. And I'm not like ashamed or scared or anything like that to say this, because like unfortunately those were the feelings I was feeling. I can't sit here and say like, oh, I didn't feel that way. And I know that there's so many people out there who feel the same way, where you see someone's lifestyle on, Instagram or whatever, on social media. You see someone's lifestyle and you're asking yourself like, they're the same age as me. Why are they living that life and I'm not living that type of life? Or why am I not achieving the things they're achieving right now? I really had to check myself, just tell myself like, you had a plan. Your life is structured in a completely different way from how their life is structured. And first of all, we're talking about the internet here. Anyone can create anything and put on the internet and, just showcase that to be the truth, when obviously it's not. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people's lifestyles and everything on the internet that are a facade. Not saying all of it is completely a lie, but we all can attest to the fact that there's so many people on Instagram and so many people on social media that are showcasing this lifestyle they have that is not necessarily true, or even if they have all the nice things and whatnot, they might not be happy. And so I had to check myself and tell myself like, hey, you can't be comparing yourself to other people. Like, you're brilliant. You know how you want your life to be. You're very level-headed. You have a plan. Why on earth are you thinking you're less than, or why on earth are you thinking you're missing out or in lack of certain things because you're seeing other people having those things? You never know, like, your time is coming. God definitely has a plan for you, and you just have to wait for that. And so that's something I really had to like meditate through it and tell myself that I really cannot go out there comparing myself to other people, because that's not gonna do me any good at all. If anything, is gonna psych me out, because I'll literally get myself in a hamster wheel where I'm just trying to compare with these other people and trying to catch up, but I'll never catch up with them because that's their lifestyle and my lifestyle is completely different. So that's one thing that I definitely had to change last year. Because I think, if anything, that was a huge contributing factor to why I was depressed and sad, is because like I wasn't embracing the fact that yes, things things might be difficult right now, but if you put in the hard work and if you do something to make it different, then you would actually see change, and it doesn't have to look exactly like another person's journey. That definitely helped me out. It helped me out a lot. I got myself to the point where I wasn't on social media for a very long time. I think my social media time, or my screen time in general, went from about 7-8 hours a day, which is very unhealthy. I was able to take that down to about 3 hours a day. It's mind blowing how much time you spend on Instagram and on TikTok. I'm not saying any of these platforms are necessarily bad, because obviously I create content on TikTok and Instagram as well. I'm just saying it can be very draining. Like, it could literally psych you out and get you in this headspace where you're constantly trying to prove yourself and constantly trying to make yourself look aesthetically pleasing, or even your home, trying to make your home look a certain way because that's what the influencers are doing, or whatever the case might be. Just know that you're unique and your lifestyle is structured the way it is because you are you and you're not the same to everybody else. And I had to bring myself to that understanding to find the peace of mind and be comfortable in the stage of life at which I was at, because if I didn't do that, I would have kept on just comparing myself and kept on just feeling sad and feeling like, why are my blessings not coming right now? Why are my blessings not happening right now? But the thing is, you have to understand that God has a plan for you, and whatever He has planned for you, you can't make it happen today. If He's planned for your success to happen in 2 years' time, you could literally climb a mountain if you want to. That success is going to happen when it's planned to happen. It's not going to happen right now. And so you just have to just wait for your blessings. Obviously, don't sit there not working. Help yourself so God can help you out. But anyways, that's one of the main things that I definitely did to change my life, is I had to get out of that headspace of comparing myself to other people, or thinking that I had to fit into a criteria to be able to be happy, or whatever the case might be. I literally got myself out of that headspace, and that's how I was able to change my life completely. Now, I mentioned that I was at a job that I didn't like, and I saved up money up until the point where I quit that job, and I gave myself 3 months, and I said, within 3 months, Dosia, you are going to get a new job. You are, your finances are right already, and you're going to get to a space where you're living the life that you want to live, and you're living the life that you've envisioned living. And so during the time that I was off and I wasn't working, when I tell you that I worked my butt off, I worked my ass off to get to where I am today. And it was hard. I'm not even gonna sit here and say it was a bed of roses. It was hard. It took me 2 whole months to get the job that I wanted to get, and I knew I was running out of time. I had only given myself 3 months, and my savings were running out, and I told myself, within 3 months you should have gotten the dream job that you wanted, and the job that's going to pay you 3x times more than what you're making right now. And I made it happen. Now, if I sit here and tell you that the job I have right now is anything that I knew a day before leaving or quitting my job, that would be a lie. I didn't know that job happened. And this is why I'm reiterating on the fact that you have to work hard and you have to do your own research to make that change. There's so many jobs out there. There's a plethora of jobs out there that people can get, and they don't even know they can get, to make their lives better. And it's one where you would have work-life balance you deserve, because I'm not gonna lie, I was working so hard at my old job. I worked pretty much 10 hours a day. I'll come home, I cook dinner, eat dinner, go to sleep, or do my homework before going to sleep, wake up in the morning, go back to work, or go to school. I was on this hamster wheel, and that's literally what life was like. But now I get to make my own schedule. I get to choose how I work. I get to schedule things ahead. I'm able to even do that. In the last job, I wasn't able to, because you have to take permission to do this. You have to take permission to do that. I was tired. I was tired of living that way. And I told myself that you're going to work hard and you're going to get the dream job you want to be able to make the changes that you want to happen. Don't even get me started with the no's I got. I think I probably applied to the same position in about 30 different companies and I got 30 different no's. And at some point I was freaking out and I would like break down and tell myself like, oh my God, what did I do? Like, was this a good idea? Should I have just stayed at the old job and, you know, it was paying the bills? Should I have just done that? But when I finally got the yes from the company I really wanted to work for, I was over the moon. Like, I remember the day I got the call to get the offer letter, and they were telling me like, oh yeah, we're finally decided to, you know, continue with you. I had 4 different interviews to get this position. When I tell you, I just broke down because I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that I actually made a plan to change my life in 3 months, and I actually did. I could not believe it. I don't want to go into details and saying like exactly what my job is and everything like that, because I want to keep it private to me. But I know that there's people out there who want to make the change in their lives. I know that there's people out there who are miserable, like unbelievably miserable at the jobs that they're at right now. But I'm telling you, if you do your research, obviously based on what you love, it can't just be any random job. This job is something I did research on, and I told myself, are you gonna be able to love this job, and are you gonna be able to be satisfied with it? All the answers to that was yes, and that's why I was able to go ahead and get it. And now I'm like over the moon. I'm so happy. My work-life balance is incredibly different from what it used to be in the past, and I'm definitely gonna have the advantage and time to create more content this year. That's one of my main things this year, is to create more content. But I feel like I wanted this to be the first video that I put out this year, just because like I wanted to help someone, and I didn't want to just come back, start making videos and act like, oh yeah, I didn't just have, you know, a shit show last year, because I most definitely did. I had a crappy year last year, but I was able to change that in 3 months. Now, the next thing that I definitely did, and what helped me tremendously to basically change my life in those months, is I held myself accountable. Every time I saw myself slacking off, or every time I saw myself getting back into that hole, I held myself accountable, and I told my partner to hold me accountable too. And this is one thing that, you know, I'm sure would help people out there going through a hard time. Find someone you trust, and find someone you know that you can take constructive criticism from. And I say constructive criticism, I want to reiterate on that, because there's people who wouldn't give you good advice. There's people who would sugarcoat things and tell you, but that's not helping you. So find that one person that you know will be brutally honest with you, and tell them to help you, hold you accountable. For me, that was my partner. I told him, if I'm slacking off, tell me I need to get up and get stuff done. And he did. It's very helpful, and I'm still very appreciative for that. Obviously, I did hold myself accountable, but I had my partner there as well to hold me accountable whenever I was slacking off. So definitely find someone that can help you, you know, like just pick up the pace and help you, like get you back on track essentially. And I also want to say, do not be scared to take risk. I think this is one of the things that was very scary for me. I was so scared to take a risk. Like in the beginning, I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I want to do this. I don't know if I'll be able to do this, because I'm literally walking out of a job that's paying my rent, my bills, my car, everything. And I'm just basically walking into a dark room, not knowing what's waiting for me. But it definitely paid off because of my hard work. And I know that you can do it too. I feel like a lot of people don't give themselves credit for how brilliant they are. A lot of people just say, oh, I'm dumb, I'm this, I'm that. Don't do that to yourself. You're definitely not stupid. If you start telling yourself, I'm intelligent, I'm hardworking, you obviously have to put it into work, right? But telling yourself those affirmations will help you so much. If you're telling yourself those affirmations and taking a step every day to make that happen, you won't believe how far you'd go. You would not believe it. And I can sit here and attest to the fact that that helped me out. That literally flipped the script for me. It's crazy because like I almost don't remember how sad I was last year. I almost don't remember the hardships I was going through last year. I definitely don't forget it because it was really hard. So I definitely don't forget how difficult it was. And so I just really want to put out this message and help someone out there who's going through a difficult time, that you're not alone. I definitely went through it, and I did something to get me out of the situation. Another thing that definitely helped me change my life in 3 months is I started using Skillshare. For those of you who don't know what Skillshare is basically a site where there's tens and thousands of courses and classes on there. The reason why I want to talk about Skillshare, and by by the way, this is a disclaimer. I'm not sponsored by Skillshare. I just love using Skillshare. The reason why I decided to hop on Skillshare was I felt like I had abandoned my hobbies and I felt like I was losing myself. I wasn't finding fun in the things that I wanted to do anymore. For those of you who watched my intro video, you would know that I said that I love going to furniture stores. I love home decor and all of that stuff. But I started to just deviate away from it. It wasn't making me happy anymore. And so what I did was I went on Skillshare and I just started watching courses on Skillshare about home decor and about how to decorate a room and how to make use of a space and all of that stuff. And that started to bring back my love for home decor and furniture, because I thought that I knew that I was losing myself and I was losing my hobbies and not finding things interesting anymore just because I was in a sad place. So Skillshare definitely helped me. And by the way, there's tens and thousands, when I mean tens and thousands of courses on Skillshare. It's incredible. I saw it on another creator's video and she said she went on Skillshare to learn about a cooking course or something like that. There are so many different lessons on there. So if you haven't tried Skillshare, I mean, give it a try and see how it helps you. I definitely found a lot of courses on Skillshare that were tremendously helpful for me. But I hope that this video helps anyone out there, and I'm definitely going to be making more videos this year, so you guys will be seeing more content from me. But I really just wanted this to be the first video I put out this year, because last year was I was in a dark place last year. But I'm proud and happy to say that I was able to walk towards it and change my life basically in 3 months. I'm a better version of what I was last year. But if you found any value whatsoever in what you've watched, do me a favor and hit the like button, and definitely turn on your notification button to get notified on when next I post another video. But for now, you can go ahead and check out my other videos that I posted. I'll leave a link down below. Bye.